Hello, fellow duels. This is Shadow of the Moon, and I think it's time for everybody to have a heart-to-heart talk. This is going to be addressing my hiatus so far, and this is going to be addressing a lot of other issues, which led me to my hiatus, because I have a few things that I actually wanted to talk about on this channel, especially for everybody that has been around for as long as you have. It's been over 5 years, so there's been quite a bit of, improvement and evolution and a lot of changing over the years. And first, it's just been wonderful having everybody here. You guys have been incredible throughout my journey, and this video is actually, it's kind of me slowly getting back into Yu-Gi-Oh, but at the same time, it's going to be addressing some issues that, they need to be addressed and as quick as possible. So the reason for my hiatus, this is going to be a long one, or at least maybe about a 15-minute video at the very least, so, get comfortable, get something to drink, get something to, snack. If you were listening to this as kind of like a podcast style, and you're just listening to this on your phone or whatever, a computer, just go and enjoy it. And I'm going to go ahead and get started. So, I felt like it was time to take a kind of a hiatus, kind of a break from the game, because of how incredibly competitive and fast it's been. Me as a player, I'm 37 now. I started this channel when I was, I was in my early 30s, and I've been playing Yu-Gi-Oh since 2002. Like I said in my video when I hit 100 subscribers about my Yu-Gi-Oh journey. But I've kind of bounced around from deck to deck, and to be honest, the first time I ever really started competitive Yu-Gi-Oh, started looking outside the box, and you can see in the videos, was August of 2021. I started posting more of like Kali Yuga in a way to, over a year and a half before the release of the new Blackwing cards in Darkwing Blast. And that was for over a year and a half, and that was my main deck, was Kali Yuga, because it was the most competitive, it was the easiest way to play, and for me it was something that was actually a lot of fun to do. But as the year and a half went by, they released the new support. I wanted to start experimenting with it more of like the synchro side, since I enjoy mostly the synchro version of it. I enjoy like being able to quickly special summon a bunch of monsters from the extra deck, being able to overwhelm my opponent, set up a few negates, set up a few interruptions, and then, bada bing, bada boom. That's my goal in playing. So as the years went on, I started being a little bit, I started being more competitive in this sense that I was looking at more different variants of this deck, because Blackwings have a shit ton of variants. We have gimmick puppets, we have Centaurians, we have Bestials, we have pure synchros, we have Blackwing Synchrons, we have Kali Yuga, we have King Calamity, we have all these different variants of Blackwings, which I eventually will one day post a tier list. That is something I've wanted to do for a while, but I kind of have been going back and forth with different variants and testing it out. There for a while, you saw on my channel, I mostly use King Calamity. After King Calamity, I was doing the pure Blackwing version, and I've also was doing Centaurian. I did Centaurian for a little bit. I built a gimmick puppet Blackwing deck and was trying that out. And to be fair, just the competitive scene has gotten a little bit kind of out of control with it. This is coming from someone even who is just more of a casual, filthy casual. I don't go to tournaments really. I only can play with people online on like yugioh Pro or Master Duel, and just seeing that from, my point of view, it was kind of getting a little bit out of hand with the Snake Eyes. But the Snake Eyes still was doable, but because I could still use my pure Blackwing deck and still enjoy it. But then when the Fiendsmith started coming out, it was a little bit too much, because I'm starting to see that more and more, decks are hand trapping, like main hand trapping, 18 hand traps in a deck, and they have all these one-card starters. And with Blackwings, you can have a one-card starter. You have, Simoon right here. You've got Sudri, You've got, those two can be one card starters, and obviously this and another Blackwing is, full combo. This is literally the entire triple Blackwing Assault Dragon, Red Hot Bestial, and Twin Shadow set with Blackwing Full Armor Master. It's got its strengths, but the game has gotten really, really fast. The ban lists have not been, they've been very lackluster as of late, banning Baron and banning Borreload, banning Link Rebo, and not really doing anything for the game. It hasn't done anything, and I just kind of got burnt out, mainly because, if you want me to be completely honest, I started playing Master Duel about a few months ago more religiously, kind of more and more competitively, and Master Duel just kind of wore me out because of the time clock, because, I have a very busy schedule, very busy life, family and everything, so I don't really always have time to throw my hat in the ring, and I just want to quit game. And Master Duel is definitely not the platform if you want to quit game, let me tell you, because it's literally back and forth, and you're on a time restraint, and there's just so much going on, and I was kind of getting burnt out, because literally, since the only thing that you do in that game is duel, you can't really do anything else. It's not like an actual Yu-Gi-Oh game like back in the day with the DS games and like the GBA and all that stuff. That time, will even admit, has gone and has come and gone. The time has passed, but it's just, Master Duel is something that you have to approach if you aren't wanting to have a burnout, is something that you approach very casually, and I was being a little bit more competitive, and it was burning me out partly. Another thing that was burning me out was, playing against, even on yugioh Pro, playing against the same decks over and over again, and there was no variety, and it just wasn't really fun. It wasn't really fun to watch and play, because it wasn't something that I could get into as much anymore because of everybody playing the same deck. I got tired of seeing Snake Eyes, and everything else was fine. It was just, it got to the point, and also Tenpai. No one likes to play Tenpai, because with Tenpai, it's literally, unless you destroy the field spell, that deck just keeps going, and it's just a constant and infinite OTK, and you can't get rid of it, and it just got really annoying. So I just got burnout. I was also uploading videos. I was, doing a lot of content. I was doing a lot. I had Dolphy on the channel, which I still always have Dolphy on the channel, but I was doing more with Dolphy, and it just, all in all, it just accumulated into burnout. I mean, we all have those from time to time. I've been playing this game for so long, you do get spouts of burnout. Also, playing with other decks and trying them out and everything, it was kind of literally burning me out on that, because I felt like unless I was doing it every single day, I could not, remember the combos, and I could not focus on it. With this deck and like Kali Yuga and stuff, and the Centaurians, these are all decks and strategies that I'm very familiar with and are pretty easy to pick up for the most part. Other than the money issue with the Centaurians, but that's a video for another day. But Kali Yuga and like pure Blackwings are something that is, very easy to pick up. Kali Yuga is very straightforward. This is pretty straightforward, but as I've gotten older, I've stopped focusing as much on making decks that are incredibly competitive, because I still do make decks that are competitive, semi-competitive at least, because that's the kind of person that I am. But I found Solstice, and I found more of like calming and more peace with the pure Blackwing deck, because it's fun, it's fast, and it does a lot of, it sets up a lot of, interruptions and some negates. And even with not having Baron to floor out there, obviously, you can still do a lot with this deck, and it's a lot of fun. But unfortunately, that leads me into the next question, or the next comment. Excuse me. Card prices. Card prices slowly, especially on TCG Player and in the secondary market, have gotten completely out of hand. Cards nowadays, are just, if you want to get the newest card out of the newest set that so much could help you get your deck, you are going to be spending a lot of money on it. So, ergo, I'm going to give you an example. Last year, when SP Little Knight came out, that card was over $100, and it was actually got up to $130 to $135. That's a lot of money and a lot of dough for one card. And, that was fine. I just chose not to play with it, which, that's fine and everything. Even the one that I have in my deck right now is literally just a proxy, because there is no way, even with it gone down to as low as it has, I still don't feel comfortable paying that. The Chaos Angel that I got, this was $60. Now, the only reason I paid for this is not because I saved money. It's not because that literally was like a birthday present or a gift. I got a gift card from my job for winning Employee of the Month. I got a $100 gift card for getting Employee of the Month. And that was my second time getting Employee of the Month. But they give you, as a reward, you get like a bunch of stuff, and one of them is a gift card. Literally, you can use whatever you want. And I spent the gift card on Ash Blossoms, a few hand traps, and Chaos Angel for $60. The gift card was 100, and I spent 60 of it on Chaos Angel because I knew that that was a card that I really, really, really wanted. But normally, I would not financially be able to afford it, nor would I have wanted to afford it. So that was the only reason I was able to get that. Cards like Crimson Dragon and cards like the Excel Synchro Stardust Dragon and stuff, and Dissipator, those were actual trades that I got. Those were trades, and those were, I think the Dissipator was something that I bought, but I don't remember because I know it was pretty expensive. But those were all trades. I did not pay for those, which I feel a lot better at, because I like being able to trade to get certain cards that I want. But, and cards that I know that I'm gonna need and stuff, which lately nowadays pretty much the only thing I need is more of, I guess, like meta competitive cards that are a little bit more expensive. But I still look for like the older stuff and the stuff that I always try to complete my binder with, which you see that giant green binder, which has been bent to shit with the strap. I actually had to duct tape it because it was starting to come undone. But yeah, the card prices have just gone completely out of hand and just out of whack, to a point where it is so incredibly difficult to afford this game financially. I mean, Magic the Gathering has always been a card game, and I'm going to throw shade at Magic the Gathering for a little bit and do more of like a hot take, that MTG has always been a very expensive card game and something to be able to have a hard time keeping up with. I mean, even if you want a competitive card, you're going to pay the money for it. And Yu-Gi-Oh! Was always that game that even if you didn't have the money, you could still make a good, viable deck, and you still can. But it's just, with every time a set comes out, I financially cannot afford to buy a set or buy the cards exclusively to that set that are considered somewhat competitive, like the new Mulcharmy card. Yeah, I can't pay 40 to $50 for just the one. And they get sold out so fast. And if you go to the secondary market, a lot of the card prices are just, they're a little bit ridiculous. So I'm the type of person, I look and wait for the 10. So I do plan on, for Christmas, buying, because I've been saving my money. And if you've noticed, I haven't been buying really Yu-Gi-Oh products. I haven't been buying like sealed products in a while. Like I did for my birthday, I did the Metal Raiders, and I did like that entire massive opening. But that was something that I had accumulated over a few months of me saving the packs. And then with Metal Raiders, I literally spent the funds that I had on that, and that was like $50-$60. But I plan on buying, for just the one gift that I want for Christmas, is the case of the new Dueling Mirrors 10. Because even though if it's 400 cards, you do have a good chance to get SP Little Knight. You do have a chance to be able to get like Chaos Angel and Dissipator and all that stuff, which is really, really cool, and something that I actually really want to be able to do, because I'd like to own more of those. And like Synchro Stardust or Excel Stardust, and get like Revolution Synchron and everything, and get all those cards that are beneficial. The triple Tactics Thrust I'm not counting on, so if I do somehow magically pull that, I will be more than happy to trade that away to somebody who really wants it. But I mean, I doubt I'm gonna get something like that. But the card price has always been somewhat iffy for me, because they've just been going up more and more, and it's financially getting more difficult to play this game. Also, that leads me into another topic. Jess Robinson, which is a yugituber, which everybody probably knows her by now, is the plant queen, literally, because I support her on her decision of choosing to kind of step away from the competitive side of it, and I don't blame her for that, because I can see it's building. The frustration is building with a lot of yugitubers, and actually building with the community as a whole. They're getting more and more outcries of the game, not only with just prizing, but like with not wanting to fix the game, having constant umbrella cards, like for, you know, decks to kind of slow them down. But when you have cards like D-Shifter, nobody likes to get D-Shifted or drolled or, you know, anything like that. And, you know, when you play against somebody, especially when you're playing competitively, I mean, my deck can play around D-Shifter. Now, granted, it won't be the greatest hand or the greatest field, but I can play around it. Droll, I can play around Droll, but once again, it's not going to be the most optimal. But, I mean, I can play around it with the deck, but it just becomes difficult because there are a lot of players who can't. And that brings me to, like, Fiendsmith, which Konami they have a really bad habit of printing broken, overpowered cards, format after format after format, and it's been going on for 2 years. That first it was Tier Elements, then it was Kashtira, then it was Snake Eye, now it's Snake Eye and Fiendsmith, and it's snowballing, and it's a constant thing, a constant influx of meta-defining cards, and like a broken system where instead of fixing and instead of, you know, trying to address the issue, band-aid fix after band-aid fix after band-aid fix of this game gets to people, and you can see it in their faces. They are getting frustrated, like I said, they're getting tired of it, and there's a lot of people who are either taking a step back competitively or just downright quitting, or they've got a lot of voice, you know, informing them and stuff. And the prize system, even though I don't go to tournaments, I feel like, you know, empathetically and, like, you know, empathically, I feel like the casual scene is sometimes more, you know, just more viable than the competitive scene, because the casual scene, if you go to locals, that's considered competitive, like, to an extent, but it's locals. You know, locals are where decks are born. They're where decks thrive at. So a lot of, you know, people who bring decks, you feel like they're getting more of a prize because they're getting packs for winning and you're getting other stuff for it. But when you go to an actual tournament and you go to a YCS or a regional and you walk away with a playmat, a Nintendo Switch, and you walk away with a deck box, it's discouraging. The Switch is over a 7-year-old console. Nobody wants a fucking Switch. Nobody wants a Switch. You can't even sell that for $200. And that becomes an issue for a lot of players who are competitive. So when you lose a lot of the competitive players, you know, you do lose a lot of that steam and a lot of that ability, because there's a lot of people who look up to people who play this game competitively as a kind of like a shining guiding light, because they see them as like, well, if we've got so many competitive players, the game is healthy. And I'm not saying, first off, by any means that this game is not healthy. It is healthy in terms of we are breaking record numbers for YCSs, tournaments, worlds. We are breaking numbers so, you know, so much because we're getting more of a turnout. But it just feels like the local scene is starting to get affected because less people are going to the locals, more people are going to YCSs and stuff, and it feels like the people who compete, you know, the prizes are just not there. I mean, you know, getting a deck box and a playmat and stuff, that's, considering you spend more money flying out there, driving there for room, board, and everything, it's a lot more than just $200 or $300. And you can see that people getting frustrated, and a lot of people have moved on to quote-unquote greener pastures, such as One Piece, Digimon, Pokemon, Magic. I mean, also, we live in a more competitive TCG style. It feels like we are back in the 2000s again, the early 2000s, mid 2000s, when everything was being made into a TCG. The Pokemon TCG, Magic, you had the Dragon Ball Z TCG, you had Yu Hakusho, which they throw in a bunch of anime, you know, TCGs in there, like Yu Hakusho, Inuyasha, you know, it was all there. So you can just feel like the competitive scene, the meta scene, is starting, like, it's starting to drift away from casual players, where less and less casual players are able to have fun, and more competitive players are actually having less fun. So what you have there is kind of like an enigma, something that is not able to be, you know, taken, you know, lightly, or able to be actually taken seriously. And I feel like it should. I feel like the competitive scene, I think Konami does need to offer more prizing in terms of just maybe cards that are worth a little bit more money, more of like actual prizes for incentives, which you see that when you go to YCSs, they have that wall, which literally has a bunch of cool stuff for side events and everything, but they need to start doing that more for like the actual YCS and for the actual main tournament. With this, sorry, went down for a second. I just got off of work. So with like the competitive scene and stuff, and with the ban list has been very lackluster. We could use a ban list more than ever, which we will get that. And I know most Yu-Gi-Oh players always bitch and complain about the ban list every time it's ban list season. Oh, this should be banned. This should be banned. We gotta have this banned because this messes up my deck and such, and this needs to be banned because this is broken. But I feel like this time it's actually a lot different. You can actually see it. It's not just people, crying wolf anymore and saying that this game is broken, but still are playing. And you actually have people who are posting that they're quitting, and you have people who are actually putting that they're quitting, and that becomes a serious thing. I mean, all in all, that becomes a very serious thing. Do I think the game can change? I think it can, because I love this game. This is pretty much my main hobby is Yu-Gi-Oh. I do other things like on the side as a hobby and everything because I like a lot of different things, but especially card game wise, this is my main, mamma jamma. This is my mistress. Yu-Gi-Oh is my mistress. It's my mama because I love this game to death, and I don't want to see anything happen to it. But I do think that Konami does need to step up a little bit, and offer more of an incentive to play. And I feel like they need to slow the game down, maybe to some extent, just to make it to where you can have more of an interaction back and forth. I know that people, especially with the blackwing community, once again, I am not complaining about the blackwing community at all because I love you guys. I just feel like the Kali Yuga and the King Calamity versions are a little unfair. I know in this day and age, in order for you to win, you pretty much have to lock your opponent out from playing the game. But for me, I like the interaction. I like being able to have that back and forth and not completely floodgate and shut my opponent down to where they can't play anything, they can't do anything. And that's why I stopped playing King Calamity. Was I actually got tired of that lock. I got tired of the lock. I got tired of always winning through just literally shutting my opponent down and making it to where they can't play anything. They can't activate effects. They can't do anything. And I had tried playing the FTK version, the Gimmick Puppet recently. I got the cards for it and everything, and I do plan on doing a deck profile on that, my version of it. But it's just literally like all you're doing is just burning your opponent to death on your first turn 0, where you don't attack, you don't do anything. It's disgusting. And if we've come to that, the game is not in a healthy state, and it hasn't been. If literally the only way for you to play is to use umbrella effects like Droll, Shifter, or the new Molchamry card, or even the new card coming out in Rage of the Abyss, I'm not looking forward to that, and I guarantee that card's going to be about $80 to $100 too, because that's going to be considered, a card that's meta and meta defining. Everybody needs it, but it prevents you from playing the game. It's the reason why Max C was banned, because this game got too quick, and when you special summon constantly, it becomes a really big issue. You're able to get away with it in Master Duel because that is a different format that follows more of the OCG, but I don't think that unless Konami bans a bunch of cards, that cards like Maxi would be allowed back in the game. Because I personally don't think Maxi is always unhealthy. I think it's unhealthy when you have no way to stop it. Like when Call by the Grave is limited to 1, all you have is really Ash and Droll, and you've got Crossout Designator, but you literally have to put those in the deck. Like I feel like Call by the Grave is important for that deck, and I feel like other cards that can stop it would be important too, but it's a different format. And it's tiring. This game is really tiring. So I did take a break from it, and I felt like it was healthy. It was something that I needed. And even when I was taking a break, I really wasn't completely taking a break. For the first like 2.5 or 3 weeks, I felt like I did, but like within the past two or weeks or so, I've been slowly kind of easing myself back into it, playing more just to have fun, because that's what this game is at the end of the day, is just you having fun. And you can have fun however you want. You can have fun playing competitively, you can have fun playing casually, you can play having fun literally if you're only winning or if you're losing, you're having fun with it no matter what. But I do think that we are not in a very healthy place right now. All in all, like, to sum it all up, I feel like the game is not very healthy for people, and I feel like it's not fair for people, and I feel like it's something that just needs to be addressed. So, I'm definitely winded after that and exhausted. So, everybody that stuck around after that, just thank you very much. You guys are awesome. You help me and push me to keep making content, and also, above all, keep playing. And to everybody that has stuck around and actually has upped me, we are up to like 516 subscribers. I kind of thought I was going to stop because I know I took this hiatus, but just to see people still who are loyal, and just people who still enjoy watching my content even after me being away for a little bit, I just want to say thank you. Thank you very much with every fiber of my being, and from the bottom of my heart, just thank you. But I feel like I'm at a little bit more of a better place. The videos may not be as consistent, but I do plan on posting more and more eventually. I have a Harpy Lady updated deck profile. I have a few Blackwing deck profiles, and I have some more coming down the pipe. So thank you very much for watching. I know video has been really long. I appreciate everyone sticking around. And with that, I'll see you guys next time. Later.